Take a look at our top story. As an aftermath of the unprecedented protest in Sri Lanka, calm seems to have returned to the streets of the capital, and the protesters are refusing to move out of the residence after storming into the colonial-era presidential palace. The protesters lounged in its opulent rooms, diving into the compound's pool, having lunch in the kitchen, and going through Rajapaksa's clothes. But in comparison to yesterday's storm, today's scenario inside the president's palace is much calmer. Protesters are still inside the president's residence. Food and water were also distributed inside the palace. Families were seen having lunch inside the compound. Some took selfies of the polished interiors, and some were enjoying the comfortable beds. A striking contrast to the misery that many have endured since the start of the crisis. Hundreds of thousands gathered in Colombo demanding Rajapaksa to take responsibility for the shortage of medicines, food and fuel that have brought the once relatively rich economy to its knees and caused misery for ordinary people. The security forces tried to hold the crowd by all means by firing tear gas into the air. They provided an escape window to Gotabaya Rajapaksa moments before he escaped from his residence, and then boarded a naval craft which steamed away from the island to safety. The country, which saw massive demonstrations yesterday, is now slowly returning to normalcy. Our correspondent, Sonia Toda, who is tracking all the latest updates straight from the ground, has sent us this report from outside Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe's residence. Listen in.
I am currently outside the private residence of Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe, and what you see right behind me is the main checkpoint that once used to guard this high security residence, which has now been completely dismantled and destroyed by those who took over this specific residence last night and set the whole property ablaze. The fire has been put out by what we see so far. There is some smoke that continues to rise from this building. Media personnel and security are currently on site trying to assess and take stock of what exactly transpired last night. From what we know so far, 3 individuals have been arrested in light of what took place here yesterday for setting ablaze this high security property, which is also the private residence of Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe. Keep in mind that this took place even after the Prime Minister, towards the late evening hours of yesterday, expressed his interest to resign and step down from his post of Prime Minister following a dramatic and chaotic day here in Sri Lanka.
WION, now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.